says, a victim of God may, through learning adaptation, become a partner of God. A victim of God may, through forethought and planning, become a shaper of God. Or a victim of God may, through short-sightedness and fear, remain God's victim, God's plaything. That, to me, was so deep.
Welcome to another episode of As a Man Reader. This is Trey D.
And Goober.
And we are still and just jumping in, really, just toes deep in Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. It's a classic, and of course, as you know, we're exploring a little fiction, a little something different for you all for this this series of episodes. I hope you enjoyed this book as we do. Today, we're on chapter 3 and 4. Let's do it.
Yeah, chapter 3 opens up with,
yeah,
we do not worship God. We perceive and attend God.
Mm-hmm.
We learn from God.
Mm-hmm.
With forethought and work, we shape God.
Yep.
In the end, we yield to God. We adapt and endure, for we are earth seed, and God is change. And then she named her section, Earth Seed, the books of the living. And so we start off on Tuesday, July 30th, 2024, and she opens up talking about a mission to Mars where one of the astronauts had just been killed.
Yep.
I think that woman's name was Catalina Godinez Lil.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so something happened to her protective suit or something in space, and they couldn't get to her, and she died. Now the people in what's the young lady who her perspective would come from? Is it Lauren? Is that
Lauren?
Her name?
Yeah.
Lauren.
Yeah.
She is talking about the folks in her community and how they saying, we ain't even supposed to be in Mars anyway. I don't even know why we wasting all this money going up there. Anyway, when we having all this crime and desolation down here. She goes into talking about the cost of water is up. Water has gone up. Gas has gone down. Like people, water is more expensive than gas.
What city are they in again?
They're near Los Angeles.
I thought they were like near in the Los Angeles, valley kind of area. Right?
Yeah, they somewhere.
I'm just throwing it out there. I just thought something that was just Continue.
Yeah, she talks about how like the cars are in the driveways all rusted up. They don't even use cars like that right now. They're using like bicycles and other modes of transportation. And she also goes into, they call it the window wall television. That was at the Yanis's house. Now, the Yanis's house, like I think it's 12 people in that house. Okay. Mother, father, kids, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, things of that nature. And so they were able to get their information from the news sources and things of that nature. And it was like the whole neighborhood would come to that house and check out what was on the news and what they had going. The Yanis's also would sell like fruits and whatever knickknacks that they kind of had around the house. Acorn bread, walnuts, things of that nature. And we learned that her two sisters move into the house as well. One is a pharmacist and one is a nurse. And I feel like that means something because she's telling us that.
Yep.
It must mean something. And it's a house full of widows too, because Miss Yanis's husband was killed, I think a year prior in like a crossfire. But she does say he got shot close up as well. So they took his bike and stuff. So, and they were talking about how the police officers have not really been helping out. They're never witnesses to these crimes, and then they're not. And if there are, they don't say anything.
That's so interesting.
So we go to the next day. Well, not the next day, but the next section, which is August 3rd. And she talks about Catalina again, the dead astronaut on Mars. Her wishes were to be buried on Mars, but the Secretary of Astronautics said, no. She could be a contaminant. And even this child, Lauren, is like, come on, it's some BS. Let the woman stay up there. If she want to be buried there, you should honor her wishes. And she starts to get political in this section too. She talks about the incumbent president. I think it's Christopher Morpeth Donner is the name. Like, again, it's a long name.
Christopher Donner. Yep.
And the father is like bread and circuses. Corporations get the bread and we get the circuses. His big thing is that is a waste of time, just like the community is saying. And she thinks it's a good thing because they're able to then expand and explore and create something new, because Earth right now is not the best place to be, at least where they are. And then she goes into talking about how she's a lot like this astronaut who wanted to go to Mars, who had prepared to go to Mars, who wanted to get on a crew to go to Mars, who wanted to terraform Mars. Like everything was toward Mars,
Yep. Yep.
but
Yep.
you still want to bring her back.
Yep.
Anyway, she don't
Yeah.
say.
You find somebody that's really, really wanting this is they've built their whole life around their personality is around getting to Mars.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then we go into the Monday, August 12th, and she says, Mrs. Sims.
Yeah. Let me throw it to me. Throw it to me right quick. This is such a crazy part because you read August 3rd and she's talking about what's happening in the world and so on. And then she says on the 12th, it starts off, Mrs. Sims shot herself today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and then it says, no, I'm sorry. Well, shot herself a few days ago, and Corey and Dad found her today. Corey went a little crazy a little bit after. Wait, what? Okay. And so just to remind people how she's writing it as like we're seeing and piercing into her, like her journal and her life.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
but continue. I just thought that was crazy.
Yeah, the way how not mundane it was. I think she was being very accurate too, because this is when we found out that she got shot today.
Yeah.
But clearly, it's been a couple days since we've seen her.
She can be very matter of fact. It's like this is just what happened. It's great amount of stoicism for somebody with hyper empathy.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she getting on Miss Sims too, because she was like, Miss Sims was that woman who was very, she talked behind your back but smiled in your face,
Mhm.
because that's just Miss Sims. She didn't like the Chinese people, the Husa, I can't even pronounce that, HSUs, however you would pronounce that name. But she was in church. Yes, Lord, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, amen.
Oh, the suit.
But she was the only she was the only person in that neighborhood who lived by herself too, and that which is wild, because he was like, how did she survive this long? But you find out that before this, I think a couple weeks before this, she was robbed.
Yep. There it is.
She was robbed, and the people, whoever robbed her, had taken her money, her
Yep.
jewelry,
Yep.
even her body. She was raped,
Mm-hmm.
and they took everything, food, clothes, everything. And somehow she was able to make it after that. Like she was still alive, but she couldn't pay her rent. And so Lauren's father said, don't worry about it. The church will make sure you never have to worry about your house being foreclosed upon or it being taken.
Mm-hmm.
And what Lauren was questioning was, did she kill herself because she didn't have it anymore? Like, but because she asked the question about God. I'll bring that up in just a second. But before I get there, Miss Sims, uh, some of her extended family had all died in the arson fire.
Well,
So
her
like,
son,
mm-hmm, his 5
his
kids,
5 kids, and his wife,
his
her
brother,
brother, her
mm-hmm,
brother's kids,
her brother, yeah, uh-huh.
right? All died in a house fire that obviously was arson.
None of them made it out the house, which was wild,
Yeah.
right? Like how did that many people get stuck in a house and all perish?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, was it weeks later? Is when Miss Sims shoots herself.
Yep.
Was
Yep.
that weeks later? How long ago was that? Yep. It was last week
Yeah.
when that happened. And she mentions that there's this new illegal drug that makes people want to set fires. So it might have been them people on that stuff.
Yep.
You know?
Which is different from. Never
She
mind.
does talk about Corey. Corey's aunt is her stepmother, who went along with her dad to Miss Sims' house. And like I said, she lost it. And so I feel like she's saying that again for a reason. Why did you want to go to this place? Like, the person is dead. Why are you allowing this to affect you in this way? Y'all didn't even really like each other. So she's catching that energy and trying to put one and two together with that. Because it said, hold on. This is the part that got me on here too. She said she believed in a literal acceptance of everything in the Bible, which means if you kill yourself, you're going to hell. So yet when things got to be too much for her, she decided to trade pain now for eternal pain in the thereafter. How
Yeah.
could she do that?
Yeah.
You know?
I know. I saw that, man, and you know, she was like, "Poor sanctimonious Miss Sims."
Yes,
That's like, oh man, oh okay. We can see how you feel about her already. Here we go.
right.
And as I go back and reread, and it's like, oh man, Miss Sims was going through it too. I wonder how
Mm-hmm.
that plays out. And I think, it's like them old church, them old mean church mothers. Like
Mm-hmm.
you could see it. I could see Miss Sims in my mind as she was describing her too.
Yeah, I felt, you know, as much I did kind of feel bad for Miss Sims
Yeah,
to some degree. I kind of got who she was, kind of like the mean old lady who was overzealous. But to know that she got robbed and raped, man, I was like, that did not justify the,
right, right.
you know what I mean? Like that's just too much, and it's sad. And that she took her own life. And this is all this again. This is all what she's saying. Now, is it true? I don't know.
Yeah,
Did somebody
yeah,
murder her?
yeah.
Because then her relatives come out the woodwork. Was it the parishes and the Paines come to take over, and she don't like it. But let me keep it in the order of how the story kind of goes. And so she makes this comment. She says, I can't get Mrs. Sims out of my mind. Somehow she and
Yeah.
her suicide have gotten tangled up with the astronaut and her death and her expulsion from heaven. And I need to write about what I believe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man, this is a page out of my book right here. Like when ideas are connecting and I don't know why they're connecting the way they're connecting, I got to get it out of my head.
Yeah.
And so she has to get this out of her head, which she does. I mean, she's writing it down on the paper so we can read it. And most of the time, she sleeps without dreaming, is what she says. And how this all connects is because this book that she is now writing all started from a dream,
Mm-hmm.
and she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't normally have them.
Yeah.
So, what does the death of the astronaut, the death of Mrs. Sims, kind of play into
Yeah.
the story right now?
Yeah. And then she goes through it. It's on the 10th of August. She wrote God is power, infinite,
Mm-hmm.
irresistible, inexorable, indifferent, interesting. And yet God is pliable, trickster, trickster, teacher, chaos, clay. God exists to be shaped. God is change. It's
Mm.
like, mm. And you could see as she's like writing these little pieces in the diary, uh, she's starting to really build on this starting to build on this philosophy, of how she, we get to at least piercing in on what she believes and how she's seeing the world a lot more, and how she's kind of like,
Piecing it.
how she's piecing things together to
Mm-hmm.
at least be able to move through whatever world she's in right now.
Right. She does say, and I'll quote, my God, because I was like, okay, now she's starting to tell us about her God.
Uh-huh.
She says,
Uh-huh.
my God doesn't love me or hate me or watch over me or know me at all. And I feel no love for or loyalty to my God. My
Yeah.
God just is.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I was like, man, one, she's saying a lot to be 15, first of all. First of all, it's pretty wise for your. And I'm understanding what she is meaning. Like me as a person, I'm like, I see what you're saying. It's almost like we are of our own volition. Once we were created, we have that much freedom to move about and move around and to think and feel as we please. We are not a puppet on a string, is what I got from it. Because she talks about the Bible and how in Ecclesiastes, to everything there is a season. Buddhism talks about suffering results from the delusions of permanence. And
Yep.
so everything is constantly changing and cycling like a woman monthly is the way I would say that. We give, she says, we give lip service to a lot of these things. And then we go on and create super parents and super kings, and super friends, like all these different things. So to stand between us and the connection of
Yeah.
our God. It's
Yeah.
like, well, they told me to do this thing. It's like, but what do you know? What
Yes.
do you feel?
Yeah,
Is the
man.
way I thought she started really having a really good case to me
Hmm.
of what God is. And I
Well,
was like, okay.
you can tell that she's, which is interesting, to be 15 and almost having an existential crisis. She writes, she on one page, she, there's a line she actually says, "Is any of this real?" Or no, is any of this real? And it's like, I feel you, girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then she goes and talks about a little bit later on in that final part of that chapter, the president, they got a new election, and
Yep.
it's like this guy has high hopes. He wants to do this, and this. We'll see if it works out. he wants to put people back to work. We'll see if it works out. How adequate? She said, I wonder. Put people in a house, put me in an apartment, put me in a room. You know, what does that
Mm-hmm.
mean? What does that mean exactly? People out here just selling you, and selling you to win the elections
Yep.
and make promises, but will it really pan out? So she's in that place. Is anything real, or any of this real? And now she's in that existential crisis. You start questioning
Questioning everything.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because she says, how does she say? But this thing won't let me alone, won't let me forget it, won't let me go. She says, maybe it's like my sharing. One more weirdness, one more crazy, deep rooted delusion that I'm stuck with. And she said, in spite of what my father will say or do to me, in spite of the poisonous rottenness outside the wall where I might be exiled, I have to do something about it. That reality scares me to death, which is, I'm just hearing her say, I have to say the thing because if I don't, then I have to live with this thing. And I got to, she's a doer.
yeah,
She's not going to sit in victimhood. She's going to make moves versus blaming all those around her. So she makes this quote too: intelligence is ongoing individual adaptability. She says adaptations that make an intelligent species may make in a single generation. Other species may make over many generations of selective breeding and selective dying. Yet intelligence is demanding. If it is misdirected by accident or by intent, it can foster its own orgies of breeding and dying. This is the one I really wanted to say. She says, oh, okay, this is her quote before she starts off Saturday, February 1st. She says, a victim of God may, through learning adaptation, become a partner of God. A victim of God may, through forethought and planning, become a shaper of God. Or a victim of God may, through short sightedness and fear, remain God's victim, God's plaything, God's prey. Earthseed, the book of the living, the books of the living. That to me was so deep because she's saying you get to create God is what I'm hearing.
yeah. That's what
That's
she's saying.
that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, that's. Well, I think one of the things that gets us to explore a little bit. So think about that in contrast to her father's religious beliefs. That would not be the case. He
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say none of that. He would call that blasphemy all the way and heresy all the way through.
Yeah.
And so she's already starting again. She's in this existential crisis. She's questioning everything. She's starting to really challenge and those traditional religious beliefs of her father and her parents. She's noticing all the crime and everything else is happening, not only inside and out. As we even go to like chapter 4, she starts to see. She really started to see like
Mm-hmm.
stuff getting a little worse than we thought out here.
Right.
Outside of the walls, outside of the safe walls that we built for ourselves. Yeah.
So right. So now again, coming in February, she talks about there was a fire and it was at the Dunn's house. And I believe the Dunns, they have a lot of people in their family too. And they live across the street from Lauren.
Mhm.
And a little girl, Amy Dunn, who happens to be 3 years old. No one watches her. No one seems to take track of her in her own household. But a little girl, Robin Balter, saw the smoke and then rang the little town bell and she's like 10 years old, but she's pretty bright, is what Lauren says. And the whole neighborhood came in with blankets and water and wet towels
Yep.
and
Yep.
garden hoses to get rid of the fire. Now, keep in mind, water is expensive at this
Yes.
time. So this is an expensive thing. Now they lose a garage, they lose some of their fruit trees that they have,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then Lauren goes into like detail about who Amy Dunn is. Her mother is Tracy. Tracy is a year older than Lauren, and Lauren is 15. So we find out that Amy was born when she was 13. Tracy was 13 when Amy was born, because when she was 12, her 27-year-old uncle had been
Very.
raping her for years.
Yeah.
Right, and they said he was a blonde dude, handsome, funny, charismatic, well liked. But after they found out that happened, the men in the neighborhood said, "Yeah, you're gonna have to go. We're not comfortable around you. If you did that to your own niece, you gonna have to go."
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
But her mother, Tracy's mother, I can't think of what's her mother's name. Christmas. Her mother's name is Christmas. Blamed her daughter for what happened, and that was her little brother that was doing that to her
Yeah.
daughter. Man, this is all in
This
the
is,
walls, man.
and don't forget, and it's 16 other people living in that house.
That's what it was. 16.
You know,
That's a lot. But I do agree with what the man said. Like certain things, yeah, we can't even.
we're not tolerating. What? I'm saying we're not tolerating. So, one of the things I want to highlight. So when there's a scene where they go outside of the neighborhood. Her brothers, some friends, they get on their bikes to do a little practice. So they got, it's the parents out and they're out doing, some stuff. They see a burned house, they see a dead body. And again, that's when they start, I think she started to notice, hey, wait a minute, it's getting a little bit more dangerous out there.
Right.
And you start to think, and then, you can fast forward to a conversation she was having with a friend. What's the girl? Joanne. Do you remember Joanne? She's talking to Joanne and is like, I think these walls are going to crumble.
Right.
Well, I don't think we are as safe as we believe we are. And she starts thinking about survival in a different way. You just got to imagine, like, all of this is happening all in, like, this is span of from basically August to February.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
but that's just a snapshot of it. This is a buildup of things that have been continuing to happen. So, and I wonder what the election propaganda would have been, or what do those ads look like? How do they get the word out to vote for the president during a particular time like this? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, we're not going to space. We are not going to space. And once he got elected, that's what he started to figure that out. Like, we are not sending nobody off to space, which is good for some people. But what it's really doing is giving the private corporations, like, they can go, like, they
Yeah,
can do what they're doing,
yeah.
and they're probably still getting funded through the government, possibly.
That's interesting. Interesting.
And the dad didn't end up even voting at all. But he was going to vote for the one who became president. But he must have learned some things in the meantime. So real quick, remember Miss Sims died. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the twins, I think they were her. How were they related to her? I think they were her cousins, some cousins. The Wardell Parish and
yeah.
Rosalie Payne.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Yep.
They did not, Lauren was not feeling the energy at all, because they were insinuating that the community robbed her, the
Yep.
community took her stuff,
Yep.
and the community owes them what was taken out. And they like, no, we that's not how we work. We work as a family in this community,
We took
and
our
we
stuff.
work together. What'd you say?
We took our stuff back.
Yeah,
We,
yeah, that we
we
gave,
didn't,
yeah.
that we gave. We didn't take
Right.
your stuff. If it was
Right.
ours, we took it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's not the energy that you want to come in. So in this neighborhood, like what you had already mentioned, when they all went out to target practice into into that canyon area, it was Lauren, her dad, Joanne Garfield, her cousin, boyfriend Harry Balter, her boyfriend, Lauren's boyfriend Curtis Talcott, his brother Michael, Ars Moss, and her brother Pete. It's like a whole gang of them. And then you had Joanne and her father Jay. And the Garfields and Balters are white, just so everybody is aware. So it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much a black neighborhood. I feel like it's majority black neighborhood with white families, but the white families still have a lot of people. No, actually, I think the black people had most people. The Moss is always, she goes into what each family does. Like the Moss is always trying to blame everybody else around them. It ain't never their fault. It's always them.
Mm-hmm.
But they did see those wild dogs out in those woods,
Yep.
and she was like, look at that dog. I think to Aura, and Aura was like, and started and was about to shoot. He's like, oh, no, chill out. And then the other girl, like a couple minutes later, starts shooting at the dog, almost shoot Michael.
Yep.
So it's like, how do these people communicate with each other? What's the hierarchy within
Hmm.
within these families? Of course, I feel like her dad is at the top of that hierarchy because one, he's the pastor of the neighborhood, and he's the one that's attempting to organize everybody.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Even
So
they say even at the neighborhood meetings, Dad used to push everybody to make sure they have their own weapons, maintain them, know how to use them so you can know how to use them well. He said so that you're able to defend yourself at 2 a.m. as you are at 2 p.m., which is my saying as well.
yep, and yeah, because you got to be ready when things come. And so when Aura Moss, when she loses it and starts shooting at the dog and almost shoots Michael, it's like you panicking. And Lauren says that the Mosses are pretty much sheltered though. Like they don't know a lot about what's going on outside of that wall. Their family keeps them that way.
And don't forget, it talks about it being an automatic gun. So she wasn't like
Yeah,
trying to kill this little one dog or shoot this one dog. It's like, yo, what is going on out here? So you can
right.
imagine all of that. Michael is hot at this point.
Yep.
He calls her a B. You almost killed me. You almost shot me. You know,
Hmm.
Aura's all upset. She raises her voice. She's like, "Hey, I had to do what I had to do." It's a whole thing here, man, going on. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's too much
It,
drama for a high school. I'm still in that place right now.
yeah, and it brought them back. So it was like, okay, so the fathers kind of get together. Um, and I think, who was it? I think it was Jay Garfield and Pops or Dad, Lawrence Dad, Olamina. They get together. All right, let's go home because it's time. But later they found out there was a family of corpses that they were near, like a child, a baby, a 4-year-old, a
Mm.
baby, a mother. I don't know if there was a father. Yep, it was a woman, a little boy about four
Yeah,
years old, and a baby.
I'm eating.
Yeah, had partly eaten.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, time to go. And then they were talking about also like, well, you couldn't smell the bodies. Yeah, because it was probably recent.
yeah,
It's time to go.
yeah. Time to
It's
go.
time to go. So as they were leaving out of the canyon, Dad shot a dog.
Yeah,
He didn't fully kill it though, but he shot it 3 times, thought it was dead. And Lauren ends up, as she's passing it, has a moment with the dog and pop,
yeah.
right between the eyes, takes him out so he doesn't have to suffer. And she feels it, again, being empathetic the way she is.
You know it. You could tell she's like by the end of this particular chapter, she's really frustrated. She's noticing some things. She just had to kill a dog, which means she also had to feel the killing of the dog.
Yeah.
You could tell she's like, but she still has that prophetic of something's about to go down. That's all she feels. Something's about to go down. She's not in denial. She thinks everybody else is, but it's like something is about to go down, and we need to be prepared.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. Preparation. That's something that she, to me, embodies preparation. Just prep.
Yeah,
And she's constantly thinking about these things and how it relates to me in my life right now, man. It's like the little things I'm thinking about is how we communicate and what we say in the narrative that gets, like, if you don't watch the news, right,
yeah,
and you don't deal with a lot of social media,
yeah.
I think your life is, you probably are living a pleasant life. I would think that would be that's what I would think.
There's some ignorance and bliss in there. Yeah,
Yeah. Because I think there's a lot of irrational fear, but for the things that are really in our, it's like people are afraid of the things that have no merit, like have no, like, I'm not even worried about that thing over there. The real thing here is they want to put stuff in your body for free. Hey, here, we're gonna put something in you for free. You ain't gotta worry about it. Huh? Well, we don't want you getting sick. So why you put, I'm not sick. Well, you will be.
you will be
Why?
sick.
So I'm saying all that to say is because she's up here thinking about what happened in Mars. She's not just taking it for what it is. She's
Yep,
thinking it through.
yep,
I took it to the next level. I was like, well, why did she die on Mars? They say it was something in her. I mean, people get into stuff because people be peopling.
People get curious.
Yep.
You know,
So,
we've seen those movies.
and then they want to bring her back. Is it really because?
They want
Is
to.
it because?
They want to study it. They're gonna have her locked up, and they're gonna do experiments and figure out what's going on.
Or she was murdered, and they want to know how she got. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even though I don't know who cares that much,
Yeah.
outside of her family.
Yeah. Yeah. This is it's starting to get intense, and we're only in we're just getting into chapter 5.
Yeah.
But she's setting the stage really well of what's happening. How
Mm-hmm.
how we're getting those good glimpses of how she's using that hyper empathy, how that affects how she is kind of moving through life. You could see the contrast of how she is,
Mm-hmm.
and how she was raised, so to speak, how she believes, how she's starting to act like this is very coming of age for her. Again,
Yes.
having an existential crisis at 15 it's got to be got to be a challenge for you, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's like adolescent, like being an adolescence where you're changing, transitioning anyway, like on top of, the hormones in her body. Now she's dealing with the world that is about to spiral.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
say that's where we are in 2025. So we'll see. We're preparing as well. Preparation is key. But I really think you have to be mindful. I like that she's investigating God because that's her frame of reference. This is what is supposed to be all knowing. This is what my dad relies on. And something ain't all the way right there. And she wish she could talk to, because she loves that her dad loves that people think she's brilliant. She loves that. But she can't like have a real conversation with him based on what I'm gathering from her. But yeah, man, so far so good.
So
We
far, so
chugging
good.
on through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. So we'll keep on pushing on these episodes. Hopefully you all follow with us as well. We're on chapter 5. Next episode will be 5 and 6. We'll keep on moving through, or maybe more. But the Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. Hopefully you are reading along with us. My name is Trey D.
And go back.
And
Read the book. Octavia Butler's book.
keep reading, y'all. Be well.